Hello guys, welcome back. In this video we will see what is a JavaScript promise and how to write a promise in JavaScript, and later on we will execute few promises using some examples. So let's get started. So JavaScript promises are similar to what we have in real life. So suppose someone promises with us that I will be doing XYZ work for you. So let's take an example that you are in office and you say to the office boy that bring a cup of coffee for me from the nearby shop. He goes to the shop, and as a result he may bring a coffee and he may not bring the coffee. So if he brings the coffee, that means that promise is resolved, and if he does not bring the coffee, that means the promise is rejected. There could be multiple reasons for the promise rejected. Maybe the shop is closed, or maybe the coffee machine is out of order, and so on and so forth, right? So the same applies to the JavaScript promises. We write some code that promises to the outer world that this particular code will be doing this tasks. So as a result, either our code will be completing those tasks, or it will be rejecting those tasks with the reason, right? So let's go ahead and write some code to see how promises are written in JavaScript and how those are executed, right? So suppose we write a function called we do something, some work XYZ, and what it will be doing is it will be returning a promise, right? It will be returning a new promise, and in the promise there are two things: either it will be resolved or it will be rejected, right? So it accepts a param of that that is a function and with two params. One is the resolve and the other is reject, right? So we have written a function do something, and it is returning a promise. So it will do something to do, it will be do something, and after some time it will be either resolving it or it will be rejecting it, right? So here if we call this function do something, right, and there could be conditions that here we write the code that can execute immediately. So suppose we can say let's suppose we have a variable we can say let a is equal to 1 plus 1, right? So here we say if a is equal to 2, then that means it is resolved. We will say resolve it, and we can pass anything here. We can pass any string, number, any JSON, anything here to give that back to the caller, right? So suppose we say that your promise is resolved, right? And if it is the condition is not met, then we can say we can reject it, and we can again pass any reason, like we can pass any string, or maybe we can pass any dictionary, array, anything we can pass here. So suppose we say that your promise is rejected, right? And when we are calling it to there are two things we can do here. One is then. So we can say then this will be only called when this promise is resolved. So this then function will be called when the promise is resolved, right? And we can maybe console it whatever we are getting from here. And the second thing is we can catch for any errors. or we can say for the rejection, that will be come in the catch clause. So it will be giving us the reason or the error, the rejection error. We can say the reason here, and let's console that reason as well, right? So what we are doing is we have written a function that returns a promise, and after some time it is doing some work here, and it checks if I have done the work correctly, that means promise is resolved, and if I have not done the work correctly, that means promise is rejected. And when from the outer world, when we are calling this function, we are getting a promise here, and there are two functions on that we can call. One is then, that will be only called when the promise is resolved, and the catch will be called when the promise is rejected. And we will get the parameter whatever we are passed here, and if we are passing the string, it will be passed the string here, and if we are passing the array or the dictionary or anything here, it will be passed exactly there. Same goes for the reject, right? So let's run this in the terminal. So we can say node, it is in the promise.js. So it says your promise is resolved, right? And if I say suppose 1 plus 2, of course this is not equal to 2, so it should be rejected, right? So if I run it again, so it says your promise is rejected, right? So here we are doing the quick work, right? We can this could be a very lengthy process, like it is a complex calculations which takes time, or maybe it calls an API call, makes an API call to the server, and it takes some time to get the results, and it then gives the results back or reject it. Maybe it downloads an image, and if it's downloaded, it gives back the image here, and if the image is not downloaded, it says the image is the function is not able to download the image, so that we can show the default images, do something whatever we want to do in that case. So in case it is rejected, it will be going in catch clause, right? So let's mimic this behavior using the set timeout to say that it is not getting resolved or rejected immediately. So suppose it is taking some time, let's add a 1 second delay, and after that we do this, right? Save it, and now if I run it, it takes some time, and then it say your promise is rejected. So let's change it to 1 plus 1 and run it again. It says after 1 second, it says your promise is resolved, right? So this is how we create the promises in JavaScript, and we have seen some examples to execute the promises for the resolving it or for the rejecting it, right? So we can also pass parameters from here as well. So suppose we pass do something for me in this much of seconds, right? We can say in seconds, and we can pass it maybe in 10 seconds, and we can add a condition here like if the seconds, if the task is less than or equal to 10 seconds, then we will accept this task, otherwise we will reject it, right? So save it, and after 1 second we say your promise is resolved, because we are passing the number of seconds 10 and it is less than or equal to 10. So if I pass the number of seconds 12, so I'm saying that do something for me in 12 seconds, but the maximum number of seconds we can pass is less than or equal to 10 to get it resolved. So it should reject it, right? Here you go, your promise is rejected because the number of seconds is greater than 10. So here we do something, and as a result, if it is resolved, we will call this resolve function, and we can pass any data here, and if it is not resolved, we can reject it, right? So as I'm saying that we can pass anything here. So suppose we I'm saying that we can, instead of just string, we can pass maybe dictionary. We can say the reason, the maximum number of seconds allowed are 10, right? And let me run it again. You see, here we are getting this dictionary with the key reason, the maximum number of seconds allowed is 10, right? So we can return anything here, right? And same goes for the resolve, right? So that's it on exploring the JavaScript promises. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. And if you have learned something in this video, please hit like, subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Thank you.